We always believe that to build a colossal structure, humans must stack stones one upon another. But what about this place? They didn't build upward, they carved downward from a single monolithic rock. And the astonishing thing is, they did this over 900 years ago, without machinery, without steel, yet still created 11 monolithic churches that leave the modern world in awe. Welcome to Lalibela, a small town in the highlands of northern Ethiopia, home to one of the most extraordinary religious structures in human history. At an altitude of nearly 2,500 meters above sea level, amidst basalt cliffs as hard as steel, lies a complex of 11 massive churches, all carved directly from the heart of the rock. Not a single brick, not a single joint. These churches were constructed around the 12th to 13th centuries during the reign of King Lalibela of the Zagwe Kingdom. His goal was not only architectural, but also religious and political, to create a second Jerusalem on Ethiopian soil for pilgrims at a time when the real Jerusalem was under Muslim control during the Crusades. For this reason, the complex was designed to emulate the holy city's symbolism, from the names of the churches to the underground pathways representing the Jordan River. What makes Lalibela a mystery is not just its scale, but its construction method. They didn't build from the ground up. They carved from the top down. From a solid rock surface, ancient Ethiopian artisans cut a precise rectangular block, separated it from the mountain with deep trenches, and then hollowed it out to create intricate interiors with main chambers, corridors, vaulted ceilings, and columns. It sounds like 21st century technology. But the truth is this all happened nearly 900 years ago with tools we now call primitive. Imagine this. Bet Georgius, the Church of St. George, the most famous in the complex, is about 12 meters tall, nearly 25 meters wide, and carved into a perfect cross shape with precision down to mere centimeters. And that's just one of the 11 magnificent structures, all connected by tunnels, underground passages, and trenches, forming a vast subterranean maze. Today, Lalibela is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, attracting hundreds of thousands of visitors each year. But the big question lingers. How did they do it? How long did it take? And do we truly understand all the secrets hidden within those basalt rocks? To understand why these awe-inspiring churches emerged in the heart of Ethiopia's mountains, we must travel back nearly 900 years, to a time when the Zagwe Kingdom was at the height of its power. The story begins with none other than King Lalibela, a ruler revered in Ethiopian history not only as a leader, but as a figure with a divine mission. Ancient texts, recorded in the Gadla Lalibela, the Acts of Lalibela, state that he was born around the late 12th century and ascended to the throne in the early 13th century. The name Lalibela, according to legend, means the bees recognize him, tied to a prophecy from his infancy. A swarm of bees surrounded him without harming him, seen as a sign that he was chosen by God to become a great king. But what drove him to undertake such an extraordinary architectural project? The reason stems not only from ambition, but from the religious and political context of the era. During this period, Jerusalem, the holy land of Christianity, had fallen into the hands of Muslim forces during the Crusades. This made it impossible for thousands of Ethiopian Christians to pilgrimage to the Promised Land. In response, Lalibela vowed to create a second Jerusalem in Ethiopia, a place where the faithful could come to pray without crossing deserts or seas. According to the UNESCO World Heritage Center, the complex was designed not merely as a cluster of churches, but as a symbolic religious map. The churches were named to reflect sacred sites. The northern group represents the heavenly Jerusalem, e.g., Bet Medhain Elam, the Church of the Savior. The southern group represents the earthly Jerusalem. The Church of Bet Georgius, with its perfect cross shape, stands apart as a symbol of eternal faith. This structure was not only for religious rituals, but also carried a political message, asserting Ethiopia as the Christian center of Africa, despite the collapse of Christian kingdoms in the north. Historical records and studies by David W. Philipson, Ancient Churches of Ethiopia, suggest that construction may have spanned decades, mobilizing tens of thousands of laborers, stonemasons, and monks. Yet, what remains perplexing is this. Despite the massive scale, there are almost no traces of blueprints, construction logs, or definitive evidence of tools. All that remains are the 11 monolithic masterpieces, standing tall through 9 centuries. Today, religious ceremonies still take place at Lalibela. During Orthodox Christmas, tens of thousands of pilgrims kneel on the stone steps carved by their ancestors. This shows that the complex is not just an ancient relic, but a living heritage, continuing to challenge our definitions of engineering and faith. But how did they accomplish what seems impossible? How could people in the 12th century, without machinery, steel, or engines, create perfectly straight cuts, precise right angles, and churches tens of meters tall, all from a single block of rock? This is the great mystery we'll dissect next. If you only hear about Lalibela, you might think it's just a cluster of ordinary churches. But when you see it in person, you'll understand why architects, archaeologists, and engineers today shake their heads. Lalibela wasn't built upward, it was carved downward, all from a single monolithic rock. Picture a massive basalt cliff as hard as steel. To create a structure from it, ancient Ethiopians had to remove the surrounding rock, dig deep downward, shape the roof, walls, and doors, and finally hollow out the interior for intricate details. No wooden scaffolding, no steel supports, no electric engines. Yet they created masterpieces with perfect dimensions and precision. The Lalibela complex consists of 11 churches divided into 3 groups, connected by hundreds of meters of tunnels and deep trenches for rainwater drainage and flood prevention. Some churches are 10 to 12 meters tall, over 20 meters wide, and all are carved with intricate architectural details. Columns, vaulted ceilings, windows, religious motifs, all from a single block of stone, without a single brick joint. The most famous church, Bet Georges, Church of St. George, is a testament to this extraordinary feat viewed from above. It forms a perfect Greek cross, with 4 symmetrical arms, straight cuts, and near-perfect right angles. A deviation of just a few degrees during carving could have caused the entire structure to collapse. Yet it didn't, for nearly 900 years. Even more astonishing, the entire Lalibela complex is not just a collection of standalone churches. It was planned with a symbolic layout. The northern group represents the heavenly Jerusalem. The southern group represents the earthly Jerusalem. The tunnels and trenches act as the sacred Jordan River, connecting the structures. What baffles modern engineers is, how did they carve so precisely from top to bottom, avoiding errors in calculation, using only hammers, chisels, and simple iron tools? A single mistake could have ruined the entire structure, yet across all 11 churches, errors are almost non-existent. Another striking detail, the basalt rock in this region is extremely hard, comparable to modern concrete. Experts estimate that carving a structure like Lalibela with primitive tools would take decades, even centuries. Yet, according to records, the entire complex was completed in just a few decades, an almost implausible feat by modern engineering logic. For these reasons, UNESCO calls Lalibela one of the greatest technical and religious achievements in human history. And archaeologists still debate, was this purely an extraordinary human effort, or is there a lost knowledge at play? How did humans accomplish this with only the tools of the 12th century? After centuries of debate, the most widely accepted hypothesis among archaeologists is that the Lalibela church complex was created through extraordinary human labor and simple iron tools. It sounds straightforward, but upon closer examination, the story is filled with paradoxes. According to studies by David W. Philipson, Ancient Churches of Ethiopia, and UNESCO reports, the construction process likely followed 4 basic steps. Carving the trench to isolate the rock block. Workers began by digging a large trench around the rock to separate the section that would become the church from the mountain. This trench provided space for workers and facilitated drainage. Carving from top to bottom. Once the block was isolated, they carved from the top down, shaping the roof first, then working downward to the lower levels. This method prevented collapse due to gravity, unlike carving from the bottom up. Hollowing out the interior. After completing the exterior, they carved the interior to create rooms, main chambers, corridors, columns, and architectural details. Some churches, like Bet Medhain Elam, featured dozens of columns, all seamlessly connected to the ceiling and floor, decorating and connecting with tunnels. Finally, artisans carved religious motifs, symbols, and connected the churches with underground tunnels. The tools? Only iron hammers and chisels, along with measuring ropes and straight edges. Some theories suggest they may have used water to soften the rock surface, but no clear evidence supports this. Manpower and time are where this hypothesis sparks debate. To complete a church like Bet Georges, experts estimate hundreds of workers labored continuously for years, not to mention the other 10 structures. In total, the entire complex may have required millions of labor hours. So how long did it take? Tradition claims Lalibela was completed in a few decades during the reign of one king. But modern calculations suggest that, even with a massive workforce, the project could have taken 50 to 100 years using only primitive tools. This is a logical gap yet to be bridged. Another intriguing detail: archaeological evidence at Lalibela, such as pointed chisel marks, aligns with the use of iron tools. But the precision in the cuts and symmetrical layouts baffles researchers. How did they achieve near-perfect symmetry, with deviations of only a few degrees, while working from top to bottom in confined spaces? This leads us to the next chapter: alternative hypotheses, from angels' assistance to lost technologies. While they may sound mystical, they address gaps that current logic cannot fully explain. The orthodox theory insists Lalibela is the result of human labor. But when you consider the reality, basalt rock as hard as concrete, precise cuts, 11 monolithic structures completed in a few decades, many experts question, were hammers and chisels alone enough? From this logical gap, several controversial hypotheses have emerged. Angels built it. Ethiopian legend. In the Gadla Lalibela, an ancient Ethiopian religious text, a story persists that angels helped King Lalibela build the churches. By day, humans worked. By night, angels continued. This is the folk explanation for how such a massive project was completed in such a short time. While this sounds fantastical to modern science, the legend reflects a deep belief that Lalibela is a sacred work beyond mere human capability. Even today, many believers see these churches as a meeting point between heaven and earth. Lost technology? Some researchers in the ancient technology school suggest Ethiopia may have possessed specialized techniques now lost, such as vibrational tools or methods to soften stone with heat or chemicals. Acoustic resonance, a theory also proposed for pyramid construction. While no physical evidence supports these claims, the refined marks in the basalt rock raise questions. How could mere chisels achieve near-perfect right angles and smooth surfaces? Connections to other civilizations. Some scholars wonder, why did monolithic rock carving techniques appear in Ethiopia, a region not previously known for such stonework, and leave almost no similar legacy afterward? This leads to theories of cultural exchange or influence from external sources, even visitors from afar, a common conspiracy theory in architectural mysteries. Modern simulations and shocking results. Modern engineers have attempted computer simulations using the manual methods described in ancient records. The results: carving a single church like Bet Georges by hand would take at least 40 to 50 years with thousands of workers. The entire Lalibela complex? Potentially 200 years, not the few decades recorded in Ethiopian tradition. This discrepancy fuels belief that something about the construction process remains unknown. Science has neither fully debunked nor proven these hypotheses. The only certainty is this: Lalibela stands defying our limits of understanding. To delve deeper into this mystery, we must examine the latest findings from surveys and modern technology, data that is beginning to reveal what lies within Ethiopia's ancient stones. Lalibela's mystery isn't just on the surface. Within those rocks lie discoveries that astonish scientists. Thanks to modern survey technology, we're starting to see what the naked eye could never detect. But with each revelation, more questions arise. In recent years, research teams working with UNESCO and the Ethiopian Heritage Authority have used 3D laser scanning to map the entire Lalibela complex in detail. The findings show many churches have not just one entrance, but hidden tunnels connecting secret chambers to external areas. Some of these tunnels are not mentioned in traditional descriptions, and many lead to spaces yet to be fully explored. This has led to speculation that Lalibela may have been used for secret rituals or as a refuge during religious conflicts. Thermal scans reveal cavities beneath some churches, designed to channel rainwater and prevent moisture damage, preserving the structures for nearly 900 years with minimal harm. This raises the question, how did people back then calculate perfect slopes and drainage systems without modern blueprints? Moreover, many interior rooms remain dry and cool year-round, indicating highly effective underground ventilation systems. Engineers call this an unexpected feat. Infrared spectroscopy analysis detected traces of high temperatures in some basalt areas, prompting scientists to wonder, was the rock treated with heat to soften it for easier carving? Or is this simply natural wear over centuries? This question remains unanswered. Data from a 2019 collaboration between the Ethiopian Heritage Authority and European research institutes reveals unusual voids were detected in the mountain near the main churches. Archaeologists believe there may be undiscovered ceremonial rooms or storage vaults yet to be excavated. Further excavation is under consideration, but the risk of collapse makes this process extremely cautious. Despite time, erosion, minor earthquakes, and heavy rains, the 11 churches have stood firm for nearly 900 years. Some carvings and wall paintings retain their original colors. This leads conservation experts to admit, even with modern technology, maintaining a monolithic rock-carved structure in such harsh conditions is a challenge. Each new discovery seems to promise answers, yet it raises more questions. Who designed this complex system? Why could they achieve what modern engineering hesitates to attempt? And have we truly uncovered all that Lalibela hides beneath its cold stone surface? The answer, or at least deeper reflection, lies in the final chapter, Lalibela, a masterpiece of faith or a cipher of lost knowledge. Lalibela is not just an architectural complex. It is a testament to the power of faith and human ingenuity. For nearly 900 years, the 11 monolithic rock churches have stood strong in Ethiopia's highlands, defying the logical limits of ancient engineering and leaving the modern world in awe. We've explored two opposing perspectives. One side believes this is the result of extraordinary human labor, combining stone carving skills, calculation, and the persistence of tens of thousands. The other side wonders, was there a lost knowledge or technology we no longer possess? The precise cuts, symmetrical layouts, and impossibly short construction timeline, all with primitive tools, remain a gap in our understanding. Modern studies with 3D laser and infrared scanning only deepen the mystery. Beneath the seemingly silent stone lie unexplored voids, tunnels leading to unknown destinations, and hypotheses no one can yet prove. But one truth is undeniable. Lalibela is one of the most magnificent religious structures humanity has ever created, proof that faith can turn the impossible into reality, or a veil concealing a knowledge we've yet to fully grasp. And now, the final question is for you. What do you believe? Is Lalibela merely a human feat with hands and iron hammers? Or is it a trace of a mysterious technology lost to time? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to continue exploring structures that challenge modern logic, don't forget to subscribe to the Logic Relic channel. because what we've just seen is only the beginning.